Welcome back to another episode of Out of Bounds on the Boomer Bus channel. I'm your host Terry, and I can't take it anymore. My voice needs to be heard on this subject. I'm joking, but I wanted to talk about it. I wouldn't say I really want to talk about it before. I mean, I talk about it in other places, but honestly, I think the only reason I'm kind of doing a episode on it is because one of the people themselves is starting to weigh in a little bit into it. So that would be Skip versus Shannon, Undisputed. Now, I don't even want to say it's a versus thing. I guess story going on right now, the actual story is the two interactions that happened over the last few weeks that really got people going. Now, if you're a fan of these two, you know what I'm talking about. The thing is that's not new. Like, the energy's not new. This is a very clear I want to say situation. There's a very clear situation of people using this as a platform to just air out what they already felt. So for me, example, I'm not a Skip fan at all. I would probably say Skip was kind of, like most people think, entertaining at first, like way back in First Take, but was never a source of information or anybody to really listen to. And then he left First Take and it fell off. And I didn't really watch Undisputed early on, but in the last maybe 3 or so years, really been into actually just sports media in general. I really didn't listen to anybody, but it became a morning routine. So anyway, I listened to Undisputed and stuff, and I actually found out a lot more about Shannon Sharpe as a personality from my friends. I knew him as a player, but I didn't realize like he was, being quotable and, that funny. So I tuned in for Shannon 100%. And I'm not going to lie to you, I hate having to endure these videos listening to Skip almost every day. First of all, the show itself is trash. I don't like debates, but also all they do is talk about the Cowboys, the Lakers, LeBron, like just a few things that these two personally are debating on. It's silly. And so I don't like that, but it's Skip Bayless. He's absolutely terrible. Because it's only one or two options. Either he's playing a character of a troll, or he is a real life just piece of crap. So not a fan of Skip at all. So then they've had these back and forth since, like I said, Skip's a troll. And so recently you had Shannon getting upset because Skip basically said Tom Brady's better than you, way better than you ever be. Like, who cares that you're a Hall of Fame or whatever. So defending Tom Brady, Shannon really felt some type of way about that, and that started going viral. And then obviously yesterday, I want to say, Tuesday, yesterday. So on Monday, we know we had the incident with Damar Hamlin, and then Tuesday, Shannon wasn't on the show, and everybody tried to make it about this tweet that Skip said. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I already told you how I feel about Skip. There was nothing wrong with his tweet. Just like these, incidents on live TV, that was a situation where people were just using that platform to air out the energy they already had towards Skip. And you already could tell, because people start bringing up everything else. Oh, you did this just like when you said, like, people were waiting for that. What he said was not bad, and I see people really stretching and taking it out of context, because, like I said, with the whole Monday Night Football thing, depending on when you said something, people are retroactively trying to attack, because in that moment, a lot of people were feeling the same things within that first 10 to 15 minutes. But then an hour later, everybody's like, well, of course we knew what it was and we shouldn't this. Now, even if that's true, even if you want to say you never should have considered playing the game or resuming the game. Skip never said anything about resuming the game. Skip literally just wondered out loud, how are they going to rectify this? Because at some point they will. You had the Odd Couple, who I love, Rob Parker, Chris Broussard. You had them the same night on like live. They weren't planning on talking about it, but it was happening live. They wondered out loud, well, what are they going to do next? Then the next day, you had every single show have that as a topic. You still have people today having it as a topic. How's the NFL going to do this? And so Skip wondered something out loud that everybody already was thinking, and that people even themselves covered that same night. And then to top it off, at the end of it, he said, all of that seems insignificant right now, acknowledging the incredible weight of the situation, just like everybody else did. And so again, when everybody decided to say, that's what you're worried about right now, how could you say that with Hamlin? Like, how could you say what? How could I ask, how are they going to figure out what to do with this game? Like, me asking that changes something with the medical team going on with Hamlin? It makes no sense. So Skip didn't say anything bad. And so Shannon came on. Basically, now, I don't know. Shannon said he didn't agree with the tweet. But I don't know if he really didn't show up because he was upset over that tweet or not. But he was setting up the opening monologue on Wednesday to say, I don't want to get into rumors and speculation. I'm telling you, this injury hit me different, and that's how I feel. Yes, Skip put out this tweet. I don't agree with it, and this is just me speculating. I think what he meant to say, because Shannon skips over his words a lot, I think what he was trying to say was, I was hoping Skip would take it down, but he just said, hopefully Skip takes it down. Either way, doesn't matter, because he was getting ready to say that that wasn't the reason, and I didn't want to come on the show and have a situation where it becomes about the tweet taken away from the real story, which should be DeMar. But before he could say any of that, Skip cut him off, and they had another awkward exchange. You could go look those up. And so now everybody, not now, well, now, yes, but some people have been doing this before, me included. But now there's a lot of momentum behind this whole, first there's the whole cancel Skip thing, which there's always that. But there's momentum behind Shannon leaving Undisputed. And so, as I mentioned, I've been talking about that probably all year. I mean, at least the last 7 so months. And as I mentioned in different spaces on my channel, I've been getting into Twitter lately at the wrong time. But now that I done figured it out, I engage a little more. And so I've been putting that out to Shannon for a long time. Like, it didn't take these blow-ups for me not only to realize the content would be better if Shannon's not associated with Skip, but also just he's not productive. He's toxic, and that's just not something that I think Shannon needs to be a part of at this point in his career because of how big he's got. Obviously, I can't tell him what to do or whatever. I'm just saying my hopes for it. And yes, all of it is selfish because, like I said, when Shannon leaves, I'll never have to hear Skip again. I'm sure his name will pop up here and there, but I'm never watching any segments with Skip in it. Like, not on the way I consume it now. I selfishly just never want to hear Skip again. As soon as Shannon leaves, I'm gone. Now, they might get one of my boys to come in and fill in. Then I might have to still tune in. That sucks, but I'm only there for Shannon. And so, like I said, I've been talking about this for a while. And I remember a couple weeks ago, and I tweeted, I had a dream one night, very vivid dream, that I watched Shannon put in his 2 weeks notice live on Undisputed. And Jen was kind of like, whoa, but then Skip Skip just unleashed. He started, berating him and all this stuff. And Shannon just kind of laughed. And I was just jumping up, celebrating. And when I woke up, I literally cried. Not like boo-hoo, but I literally had some tears in my eyes that it wasn't real. Because I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, this might be something I never thought I would see. And so this was weeks ago. So now, I mean, in the past when things happen, Shannon don't really say much. But now what I've noticed is that a lot of people that have been saying stuff, like Tuesday, Charles Woodson had mentioned like Undisputed without Shannon is unwatchable. And then Shannon liked that tweet. And I'm like, whoa. And there was a couple other people that said some stuff. He liked that tweet. And then I seen today, just regular, non-celebrities, non-blue checks saying stuff. He liking that tweet. He liked the tweet that, what's his face? Marcellus Wiley put out, who's no longer affiliated with these companies. And he basically said, which I believe is the case, because a lot of people talking about fighting Skip, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, black and white and everybody else defending Skip, calling it being thugs trying to beat up a 70-year-old man, which just blew my mind to see that type of stuff. But Marcellus saw it the way I saw it. It ain't about fighting Skip for real. Shannon know what that cost. He ain't gonna do that. But what it is about is somebody whose platform has risen. Thankful to Skip for giving that chance, yes, but it's now risen to a point where two alpha males, they fighting for territory, and neither one gonna back down. And you can say Skip is that and that, but in the profession, he's an alpha male. And he brought Shannon in. And so it happens. Shannon is outgrowing him, which is what I've been saying. And Marcellus mentioned, like, you can tell they don't really talk outside. And we knew that because Skip's always talking about, I don't know what you tweeted. I don't know. I don't follow. He always mentions that you don't follow me. I don't follow you, like that stuff. And so Skip felt ambushed when Shannon brought up the tweet. Because he's like, oh, I was told you weren't going to say that. Like, told by who? The producers, your agent? You thought they talked to Shannon's agent? You didn't talk to Shannon yourself? And so Marcellus pointed out they don't really communicate like that. And that's why Skip felt ambushed and he's trying to protect his territory. And to me, Skip full of crap, as I've been said. Because he said two things that don't go together. Immediately after that, or immediately he says, well, I'm not deleting my tweet. I stand on what I said, which is fine. But then he says, well, I was told that you weren't going to bring that up. So wait a minute. So you either really believe in what you said and you stand on it, but you also had to confirm with everybody to make sure it's not being mentioned. When you want something not being mentioned and brought up, you know it's a negative. You know it's something you're not trying to put out there. If you stand on it, why do you care if he mentions it? So those two things don't go together for me. I don't think he stands on it. He got the heat. He knows he got the heat. He even clarified the tweet that same night. But then, because he felt ambushed, he wanted to double down and try to, show he ain't no punk and save face. And so either way, how it goes, my 2 cents, like I said, I've been saying the last year in 2022 that Shannon needs to move on. And it wasn't because of no disrespect. It's just, again, my selfish reasons, but also if anybody could look at this situation and see that Shannon, it's time for him to go on to bigger, better things. But on top of that, these interactions that I do think have been very disrespectful, shows a lot. I mean, and again, Shannon has been an absolute professional and he's absolutely handled himself well. I can't even imagine how well he's handled himself, but listening to Shannon on all the platforms I've seen him on, I don't necessarily think he's the type person today that's like, okay, you disrespected me, I'm not working here, I'm gonna fight you. I think really it's about the money and about that equal share in power, because he knows that he's earned it and he's probably not going to get it. And maybe they had discussions before and it wasn't, it didn't go the way he wanted, but this is now a catalyst for him to use to move on to the next thing. And I hope he does, man. I know he's got a multi-year deal he's just signed, but I really hope he and again, what I think would happen is similar to what happened with Max Kellerman. I think that he could probably stay on Fox and they just give him his own program. I mean, I would love if he joined First Things First, but that's Nick's thing. And that's the thing, is alpha males is egos. And so maybe Shannon wouldn't do that, but I think he could get his own program and rock from there. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the whole thing. Go down in the comment section, let me know what you think. Share around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for going out of bounds.